Have you ever felt trapped, like there's no way out, and every path seems blocked? Imagine walking across a desert, your feet sinking in hot sand, the sun blazing overhead, and knowing that behind you, danger is closing in. That was the moment the Israelites faced as they fled from Egypt, led by a man named Moses. Moses had been chosen by God for a mighty purpose. He had spoken to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and told him to let God's people go. After many signs and wonders, Pharaoh finally agreed. But then, in a moment that must have filled the Israelites with fear, Pharaoh changed his mind. He sent his army, with chariots and horses, racing across the desert, to bring the people back to Egypt. The Israelites were terrified. They looked ahead and saw a vast, seemingly endless sea, the Red Sea. Behind them, Pharaoh's army thundered closer, and there seemed to be no escape. The people cried out in panic. "Why did we leave Egypt?" they asked. "We are trapped. There's nowhere to go." Can you imagine their fear? Families huddled together, children clinging to parents, and elders trembling with worry. The Red Sea stretched across the horizon, its waters glinting in the sun, vast and impossible to cross. But Moses, a man full of faith and courage, lifted his eyes to the sky. He trusted in God, even when the situation seemed hopeless. He spoke to the people with calm authority, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the salvation of the Lord. He will fight for you, you need only to be still." The Israelites had never faced anything like this before. Their hearts raced, but Moses' words reminded them that God was with them. Then, something incredible happened. God told Moses to stretch out his hand over the sea. As Moses obeyed, a strong wind blew from the east, and the waters began to part. Imagine standing on the shore, watching a wall of water rising on one side, another wall rising on the other, and a dry path appearing in the middle, wide enough for thousands of people to walk through. The sea was divided, creating a pathway that led directly to safety. Fish and sea creatures swirled in the walls of water, shining in the sunlight as if they were dancing in amazement at God's power. The Israelites stepped onto the dry path, walking cautiously at first, then with growing confidence. Children skipped and laughed, elders held their heads high, and families stayed close together. Behind them, Pharaoh's army pursued, but the walls of water loomed tall, a clear sign that God was guiding his people. The wind howled, the waves shimmered, and every step forward was a step of faith. When the last Israelite stepped across safely, God told Moses to stretch out his hand once more. Instantly, the walls of water collapsed. The sea rushed back together with unstoppable force, sweeping away the chariots and horses of Pharaoh's army. The soldiers tried to escape, but the waters engulfed them, and the Israelites saw the power and protection of God firsthand. They were safe, and Pharaoh's army was defeated. The people erupted in joy and thanksgiving. They sang songs of praise, lifted their hands to the sky, and celebrated God's mighty power. "The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation," they cried, their voices echoing across the desert. It was a moment of awe, relief, and wonder, one they would never forget. Moses and the Israelites had learned an important lesson. Even when the path seems blocked, when danger surrounds us and fear overwhelms us, God's power can make a way where there seems to be none. Faith, courage, and obedience can carry us through impossible challenges. The Red Sea was more than just water, it was a living demonstration of God's love, protection, and miraculous intervention. Think about the scenes: walls of water towering like giants, fish swirling in shimmering waves, families crossing with hope in their hearts, and the sound of Pharaoh's army fading into the depths. Each detail reminds us that God is mighty, that He sees us in danger, and that He can provide solutions beyond what we can imagine. The story also teaches us about trust. The Israelites had to follow Moses' guidance without hesitation. They had to take steps of faith on dry ground surrounded by water, believing in something they could not fully see. How many times do we face challenges where we cannot see the outcome? Moses' courage reminds us to trust God, even when the path seems impossible. And there is hope in this story for all of us today. When we feel trapped by our own Red Sea's fear, worry, or difficult situations, we can remember that God is greater than any obstacle. He can open pathways, protect us from danger, and lead us to safety. With faith, prayer, and courage, we can step forward, even when the way seems blocked. As the Israelites continued their journey through the desert, they carried with them the memory of the Red Sea, a reminder of God's miraculous power. They knew that even in the hardest moments, God's presence was with them. And just as God led them through impossible circumstances, He continues to guide and protect us today, in every challenge, big or small. So, whenever you feel surrounded by problems, remember Moses, the Israelites, and the Red Sea. Remember the walls of water, the path of dry land, and the safety found through faith. Remember that God's love is powerful, His protection is certain, and His plans are always greater than our fears. With trust and courage, we can face any challenge and witness miracles in our own lives. If you love this story, please like and subscribe so we can share more adventures.